Unlock the stories that define hip-hop culture. You're now locked in to the Terminator Xperience podcast, where hip-hop history meets the culture right now. Hosted by DJ DVS and Minor, alongside the legendary Terminator X. We're talking classic moments, untold stories, and the voices that shape the game. Straight from the source. No filters, no filler, just real conversations and real hip-hop. Turn it up. This is the Terminator Xperience podcast.
Check it out, y'all. It's your main man, DJ Mixmash, and this right here is another episode of the Terminator Xperience podcast. To my left, I got my main man, Minor, and to my right, we got the legendary Terminator X. And on the line, we have a legend of all legends, credited as the first female MC.
Say that.
She has been on plenty of...
Who is it?
Sha-Rock. Welcome to the podcast, Sha-Rock. How you doing?
Put the claps up. I am in the building too with people who I do respect as well. You know, Terminator X, yourself. And also I just found out that, a friend of mine, who reached out to me 12 years ago is Matt. He's definitely on this podcast as well.
Yes. It has been a, that was back when I was a little kid, and now I'm a grown man here with y'all.
Yes.
So first off, how you been? You been good?
I've been good. Life has been treating me good. Of course, I would credit that, to my upbringings, with hip hop. A lot of people would say that, every time I say, hip hop for me as a woman, it taught me how to be that woman because I have so much respect for the culture and all the elements of the culture. Then I try to live by that every single day. I'm a retired correction officer. A lot of them didn't even know in Texas, right? Over 20 something years. And a lot of them didn't know who MC Sha-Rock was until they got them social media and the internet, came about, and that's when they realized, who I was. And that was when it was time for me to retire.
That's
out
beautiful.
Of the prison system. Yeah. Yes.
I have a lot of family. My father retired from Department of Corrections, Rikers Island in New York. I got my cousin Tracy. She retired from Department of Corrections as well. So yeah.
Yeah. I have no shame. I get a retirement check every month.
That's
all
right.
The shit I had to put up with.
I
You
know
know what I'm
that's
saying?
right.
But listen, I'm good. I'm good. But it taught me a lot, especially being, just a woman and just the correctional facilities and how things work and
It's
how
hard.
no matter what, you still, regardless of the situation, you still have to be firm but fair, but also respect, that no matter what, people are still human, regardless of what they're in there for. So I think with me being a part of the hip hop culture, from its inception, I think that taught me a lot of how to deal with people in general. You know what I mean? Just everyday life experiences, growing up, in the Bronx.
Yeah, because I had another friend of the family. She worked for Department of Corrections as well, and she worked with male inmates. And she was like, you have to have a little bit of a sense of humor and
Male
joke
and
with
females.
them too.
Yeah. I work with male and females, and you deal with a lot. A lot of times, I done got called, bitches and hoes and all that stuff. But then I also had inmates. No, for real. I also had inmates, that would step up, to play and be like, nah, you better not come out on this rec yard today. You better stay in for your 24 hours because if you come out there, you're going to know about it. You don't disrespect Miss Jackson like that. You know what I'm saying? So even though, people, and I get it. Of course they're going to do that, if they get their way. But then I had a lot of inmates that stood up, for Miss Jackson. That's what I used to be called back in, the correctional facilities.
You have to build relationships. I mean, as crazy as that sounds.
Yeah, I didn't want to build no relationships. I couldn't.
Well,
do
you know
that.
what I mean.
You know what I'm saying? Okay.
Rapport,
But even
a good
if you
rapport.
show just an inch, a good rapport, right? But if you show an inch of, whatever, they'll take it to a whole nother level. So my thing was always firm but fair. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you have to let them know who you are. Yeah.
Yes,
all right, so
absolutely.
let's get more into this now. A lot of people don't know this. You're originally from North Carolina.
Yes, I am. I was born in Wilmington, North Carolina back in 1962, right? But a lot of times, but I wouldn't say a lot of times. I mean, every summer, my mother, we left, okay, let's go back. We left North Carolina, Wilmington, North Carolina in 1968, right? And
Okay.
so, because there was a lot of things that was going on in North Carolina at that time, a lot of racial tension and all of that other stuff, was going on at that time. So my mom and my step father wanted us to move to New York to get like a better type of living. And so we did that. And so, but every year for the summer, when New York got out of school, my mom was sending me and my brother and sisters to North Carolina so we can go back, to do the fishing, and just that, go pick cherries off the trees and all of that type of stuff. So even though, I was born in North Carolina, raised in New York, I also went back to the South every summer, with my grandmother and my mother's family. We had like the biggest family down in North Carolina, the Pryor family. So my brothers and sisters and I would always be shipped back, on that Greyhound bus going to North Carolina to spend the summer, with my grandparents and my cousins and aunts and uncles and all that stuff. Yeah.
Wow.
All right. So then you moved to the Bronx, and then that's when. So when y'all started the group, like what year and how did y'all come along to get to know each other and how y'all formed the name?
So let's take it back. As I said before, I moved like around 1968. My mother was a nomadic mover. You know what I'm saying? Whenever she didn't want to pay the super or pay the rent, she would move to different places. Yeah. A lot of our parents went through that, and that was back then when rent was like $235. You know what I'm saying? For a 5-bedroom. Yes. And so with that said, when we first got to New York, we lived in a 1-bedroom apartment with my Uncle Harold on 116th Street, in Harlem, right? And this was 1968. And then we moved to the Bronx, probably like 6 months after that, and I lived on 169th and Webster Avenue, right across the street from Webster Projects. And then we moved back to Harlem. And I lived on 147th between 7th and 8th Avenue for about 3 years. And then we moved back to the Bronx, and my mother moved, and we lived just about every section of the Bronx, And so just like my mother, was a nomadic mover, I became a nomadic bee girl, So being in junior high school, through my 7th and 8th year, of course, that music, was going around, of course, the break beats, listening to all of the break beats that was going on at that time, and also R&B as well. And so with that said, I had 2 friends that went to junior high school with me at 145, I think it was on Teller Avenue in the Bronx. And they taught me, how to, to break dance, to become that B girl. And so they had a cousin that lived on 169th Street that was called the 9, that I would go up, to the 9. And that's like Claremont Projects, on 169th and Washington Avenue. And so I would go, days that my mom would let me go, to break dance. And sometimes I would sneak up there, to break dance or to be girl and rock out, with them. And that was during the time that I met, at the time it was they were called the Nigger Twins, but now they go by the legendary twins, which was Keith and Kevin. Yes. And so at one year they invited me to go to Kool Herc's joint, that he was playing at the PAL, because they were, students of Kool Herc, and they would travel with Kool Herc, DJ Kool Herc, wherever he go. And so a year later, after the blackout for me, 1977, like the end of November 1977, there were a group that was called, well, not a group, it was an organization that was called the Brothers Disco. Now, even though at one point they lived in the Bronx, so that was DJ Breakout and his brother Donnell, they also lived in a private house up in uptown, by Gun Hill, projects, 222nd, they lived uptown. And so by 1977, 1976, I was going to Vanda High School. And that's when, at the end of, I went to Vanda High School for a year, but at the end of 1977 is when, I met DJ Breakout and DJ Barron, because they were having an audition, for some MCs. And KK Rockwell, he was already a part of the group. And later Keith came. And then I answered the call, from the flyer that this young man was passing out to go and audition, to be a part of the Brothers Disco and a part of their MCs. And so by the end of 1977, I became an MC, for the group, the Brothers Disco. And we were not yet called the Funky Four yet because we added another person, which was Raheem, who later went on to be a part of the Furious Five. So by the 1978, the beginning of 1978, around my February, March of 1978 was that's when the title of the Funky Four, was made, at that point. Yes.
Okay. Wow, that's history right there.
That's dope.
It's crazy because a lot of people, when you talk about, MC Sha-Rock, if they don't know the story, they think MC Sha-Rock started when they heard that first song, Rapping and Rocking the House in 1979, or That's the Joint in 1980. No, MC Sha-Rock was on the ground. I was on the forefront. I was there. I was one of the prolific MCs, along with Grandmaster Mully Mel, Keith Cowboy, the Furious Four. Well, they was the Furious Three, and then they became the Furious Four. So we were all rocking together even before 1979, when the first rap record was released. So when you talk about the culture of hip hop, my tenure in hip hop started from the street, from the parks, from the, all the hip hop venues before rap records.
Exclusive.
That's dope.
Absolutely. And I don't have a problem, when I'm telling people, you know what I'm saying? Because I have a great memory when it comes to what was going on at that time. And I love the culture so much, that I like for people to understand that women have always been there. So when you talk about Sha-Rock, Sha-Rock was the first female MC to be called an MC. And we can go back because I have over 500 flyers, authentic flyers to show this. You understand what I'm saying? And we're talking before records, and even though those flyers are from, late 77 to early 78 and 79 on up to 83, 84 that I have those flyers. The thing is that if anybody could say, well, Sha-Rock says she the first female MC, let me show you how I can prove it. Because you can't just go out and just claim something, but you don't have any backing. And if you talk to people like Grandmaster Mully Mel, and if you talk to people like Grandmaster Flash, they know if they're going to mention anybody first when it comes to female, they're going to always say MC Sha-Rock, because they know at some point the Furious Four battled Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Four, and we also battled Grandmaster Flash when they was the Furious Five MCs. I'm the first female MC to ever be in a rap battle. You understand? And this was against Grandmaster Flash, the Furious Four, and the Furious Five. And we have flyers to prove it. I'm the first female MC to ever be on cassette tapes.
Yep. I remember those cassettes.
Right. Yes. Absolutely. I'm the first female MC to have an all-female hype crew. So what happened is that whenever, I would say a rhyme, just like a Flavor Flav or a hype person or whatever, they knew my rhymes. They would go out to the crowd and they would say my rhymes out in the crowd, so everyone could be able to repeat and know my rhymes. This is how my rhymes resonated with so many people, because of the fact that I had that hype crew, female hype crew, and the female security crew. Even though they was apart, they were called the Sisters Disco. Just like
the Brothers Disco.
To the Brothers Disco, right? So you had the Brothers Disco, which you had, all the guys that came out of the projects that would, hook up their equipment, and they would set up the equipment. And then you had the Sisters Disco that would also help pass out flyers, but they also served as security, and they also served as the hype women for the Brothers Disco and MC Sha-Rock as well.
I know what you just said about being the first, because one time when I had spoke to Red Alert has always told me, and you was always the first.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong. My thing is that in the beginning, and everybody know this, you know what I'm saying, because I talk about it. In the beginning, my whole thing was that I was always bigging up the females that came after me, because I thought it was very important to ensure that people know, listen, before records, there were females out there, carrying the crates, you know what I'm saying, pushing the culture forward. Even when the billion-dollar business that now didn't even want to listen to what we had to say until they realized that they can make money off of it, right? But at the time, we were young teenagers with little or no resources, right? That ensured that no matter what, our form of communication with our audience was always through cassette tapes, through flyers, and word
That's
of
right.
mouth. You
That's
understand what I'm
right.
saying? And so when I say to you that I'm the only female over 500 flyers that played in every event in New York City, I could show it to you because I got proof. Not only did MC Sha-Rock, perform at a lot of the events, we didn't just stay in the Bronx. We used to get on the damn ferry and go out there and rock out on the ferry. You can even ask, Staten Island, Long Island. You could ask EPMD. Before records, we were coming out there performing for, them at their sister's party's house. You know what I'm saying? So we move a lot of the culture to places like Staten Island, places like Long Island, all up
Yeah.
and down the 95 corridor, all going all the way up to Mount Vernon, Connecticut, Nyack, whatever. We was everywhere. Every single where we were out in Lefrak City in the Bronx. We used to go out there in Staten Island. We used to in Queens. We used to go out there and battle all of the prolific DJs and MCs that was out there, and they will tell you that. They will tell you that. I have flyers. And so when people try, that may question it, listen, I'm all about showing proof. If I tell you what I did, I'm gonna show you what I did.
So
And not to mention, I was the first female MC to ever perform at the Audubon Ballroom where Malcolm X got
yeah.
assassinated at.
Wow.
And this was 1978. You understand? Many a times. So when we talk about MC Sha-Rock being first in a lot of things, the first to be on national television, right? So we talking about Saturday Night
Saturday
Live.
Night
We're
Live.
talking about the
Yep.
2020, 2020, when they came out and filmed The Armory, which was the first rap convention that Sugar Hill Records gave. And I also want to say a lot of people this is not to take away from anybody or other females, but it's going back to how I used to be in the beginning. In the beginning, I was like, I'm rocking with all females because I would never allow anyone to take away what the females have did in the Bronx leading up to the rap record scene in
Let me
1979, right?
if I
But
if I
but two things happened. Angie Stone, which passed away, rest in peace. She was a
Rest in
very good
peace.
friend of mine, right? She was a very
wow.
good friend of mine. We became very good buddies, when we began to start going out on tour with the Sugar Hill Record label back in 1981.
Sequence.
I got her and my a crew member, my member of my group, Rodney Stone, together. So in
Wow.
1982, 83, in 1983, they got married and they had their first daughter. But she was the one who told me, she said, listen, Sha, you rock for everybody. You out there, waving all the females' flags in the Bronx. But I don't see nobody waving yours. And then I sat back and I was like, yo, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? And so what I found out is that without me not fully telling my story got lost in everybody else's story. So everybody else could begin to start saying, yes, I started the same time Sha-Rock did. I was there when Sha-Rock did this. I was there with this. But no one had did what Sha-Rock did. Sha-Rock did it first. You
Yep.
understand? And so I had to start telling my story. I had to start coming clean and telling my story. And if I offend anybody, I was never going to dim my light because I saw what it was. And this is not to be disrespectful to anybody that's out there. But for the last 20 something years, I've been waving my own flag. And people have begun to start listening because I'll show flyers. I'll show proof. I'll show, Rolling Stone magazines. I'll show the Village Voice writing about me when they was not writing about anybody else. You know what I'm saying? And so when I talk about, and let me say this, if I come off, cocky to y'all, it's not about being cocky. I just need y'all to understand who Sha-Rock is and how, as a female, the first female MC of hip hop culture, I helped build this culture on so many different levels, being a female MC and not just saying, okay, yeah, I made a record. Yeah, I'm the first female MC authentic female MC that was signed to a label, that was in the Bronx, that was pushing this culture forward. And so when you heard people like Sylvia Robinson from Sugar Hill Records seeing what was going on in the Bronx, this was, in New York City, this was going on way before Sugar Hill, you know what I'm saying, made their first rap record. And I was a part of this. So when you talk about mother hip hop, or you talking about the first female MC or whatever, I was on the front line. You know what I'm saying? No one, yes, we did a record, and I have to make sure that we give props to, Sylvia Robinson, from Sugar Hill Records, to ensure that people outside of New York was really know what was going on. Of course, they did the legendary song Rapper's Delight that opened it up for all of us. Even though we were doing it in the Bronx, right? It opened it up for all of us because it made people realize what was going on back, not just in New York City, but in Jersey and that whole tri-state area. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wish one day all these female rappers will all get together. All these new rappers from today, all these just females, no males, just females, and they'll all honor you because you opened the door and the way for all of them to be who they are today. It's because of you.
Yep. If it wasn't for you, there'd be no Cardi B, no Nicki, no Sexy, none of them.
No Latifah, nobody. You
MC
opened the door
Light,
for all these.
none of them.
So y'all listen to me and y'all open the doors and y'all honor this lady.
Please.
And about being cocky is the truth, because I was young in them days, and you the first I ever heard.
Yep. You're the first one I heard.
Yeah.
Thank you. And let me say this. I always have to show mad respect, to people like Rod Digger, MC Light, Roxanne Shante, they always give me my respect, and I think that all of them have contributed to the culture so much. And whether or not it was different decades or different time frames or whatever, they have contributed to the culture as well. For me, it's like all of us should be celebrated for what we have done as women. You know what I'm saying? To bring, and to highlight the women in the culture that has brought this culture to where it is now. And if you're talking about rap culture, it's going to start with Sha-Rock. You understand what I'm saying? Right. Because for everything that's a part of the hip hop culture, not the rap culture, but the hip hop culture, I was there on the ground floor doing it.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying?
That's right.
I was there. And like I said, when it comes to, 500, there's no other females in the history of hip hop from beginning to, let's just say, rap records and beyond that have more authentic flyers with me on it, traveling around. Bring the gospel, of hip hop, to every hip hop venue, out there. There's no other female out there have more authentic flyers with their name on it than MC Sha-Rock.
That's right.
That's real.
I can attest to that.
That's
absolutely
real.
Are you working on anything new? You want to come back out? You want to prove, get your
so let me
back?
say this. Let me say this. I want to send a shout out to KRS-One. He called me like about a year ago and he said, yo, I got this joint I want you to do, call I sat back long enough, and I did it, and when you ask me, am I doing anything now? Of course, for the last 5 years, I've been on Rock the Bells radio. LL hit me in Kaza, 5 years ago, you know what I'm saying? And he hit me up and he was like, yo, Sha, I see you online. I see you talking about the history. I know you know a lot. He said, I want to bring you on Rock the Bells, but I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet. I'm going to figure it out because we got to have you. So he hit me up and probably like a couple of days later and said, what do you think about, Cole, being on the show with Grandmaster Caz? I say, that's my brother. I mean, we go back, yes. And he would be a great fit. And that's how we came together, And so with that said, I'm on that show. But you had mentioned North Carolina earlier. And I just want to say y'all are the first to get it. I don't know when you're going to release this, but I have not put that information out yet. But y'all are first to find out, besides my family, that I will be inducted into the North Carolina Music Hall of Fame, along with George Clinton and about from the Parliaments and about 5 more other people that's going to be inducted that came from North Carolina but has contributed to, music. So that's going
Congratulations.
down in October.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
If there's
something, let us know. We'll come there.
Yeah, we coming,
Yeah,
please.
that would be. Oh, please. October
Yeah, because
16. I want all
we're
my
in North
friends
Carolina
there.
now.
Yep.
In North Carolina,
Oh, for
and they
real?
need to put a sign, a street on your name. That'll be a
Yeah,
real
man.
honor.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let me tell you this. So right now, last year, because I was born in Wilmington, North Carolina, I was honored to have my own day, in Wilmington, North
Wow.
Carolina, MC
Yeah.
Sha-Rock Day, and it's in May. I'm going to trickle back around, and I didn't do it this year because I had a lot of stuff going on. I did have MC Sha-Rock Day last year, so next year I'm going to come back full force with MC Sha-Rock Day. Also, I just got notified a couple of days ago that I'll be inducted, as I said, into the North Carolina Hall of Fame along with George Clinton from the Parliament and a lot of other people. But also, I don't know if y'all ever got a chance, but to come out. But back in 2019, I was ordained with MC Sha-Rock Day in New York City. So now that I don't just have it in the Bronx, but I have it in New York City, period. So it's on the books that, the first Saturday of each month, the first Saturday of June is MC Sha-Rock Day. And this is across all boroughs. So right now, this is going to be my 8th year. It's going down next Saturday. And it's in the Bronx. I have it at Gun Hill Park, up in the Bronx by the T Connection. I don't know if y'all familiar with that, but it's, right down the block from the T Connection. And I chose that place. Yes, I chose that place because it was easy. The number 2 train for how we used to go to the T Connection back in the days, and get off at, White Plains and Gun Hill Road, and just go downstairs and go to the T Connection. And it's going to go on down. This is the 8th annual MC Sha-Rock Day. I have Rod Digger hosting along with Mikey D, aka Mikey Destruction, from Main Source. They're hosting. They're hosting. We have so many different people coming through. And one thing about MC Sha-Rock Day is that I celebrate all elements. So we have Scheme from the legendary Style Wars movie that is going to be on stage doing graffiti and all of that stuff. He's coming through. We have the drummer Sticks, who's a part of the GQ band, and he's from the Bronx. He's going to be playing drums and all that stuff. And I have a young artist named Razor, and we're also celebrating Young B, aka Bianca Bonney, for her 20th anniversary of her song Chicken Noodle Soup. So we're going to be out there celebrating that with her. We have the Fearless Four performing, and I have the DJ. Shout out to DJ Breakout, DJ Barron, DJ Jerry D. Kevin Rockwell is going to be out there. Fly Guy is going to be out there. DJ Supreme, also DJ Hands. And so I like to bring a mixture of DJs that not only know like the new school music, but also the music that was synonymous with the culture that a lot of people haven't heard. And so even if they heard it and they hear those break beats and those samples, I like to take them back to where all of those samples came from, because these are the songs that we knew, that we grew up on. So I get free food out there. I give, like, if you eat seafood, I give seafood out there. We have another sponsor just came on, to offer food, because I always feel like, listen, we grew up, in the era, and it don't matter where you came from. If you was in the Bronx, you would hit every block to get that free cheese, and those free, remember that? The free lunches and stuff.
I missed that free cheese.
Man, me too. Do y'all remember back in the days when, I don't know if y'all did it, but I know me and my brothers did it. On every block, if there was a church on every block or corner, we used to hit every church to get those free lunches, that they used to give out. And our refrigerator was packed up with lunches, from the free
them little juices, them little apple juices, that little aluminum.
Oh, stop it. Oh, damn. That shit was good back in the days, right?
Damn right, it was good.
And so with that said, I like to, to me, I don't think everything is all about money. See, I ain't never made no money from it. You understand what I'm saying? In the beginning, it was just about carrying the culture on your shoulders. You know what I'm saying? We didn't look at it, about getting paid, because there was no blueprint to it. Young teenagers with little or no resources, just knowing that they are creating a culture, that later became $1 billion culture. You know what I'm saying? And so if it was all about money, to me, I'll still live by, that code. Now I'm gonna get paid, for whatever I'm doing. But my thing is that that's not what it was for me back in the days. And so I
That's
like
right.
to take that back. And now,
That's right.
because I don't always think it's all about money when it comes to the culture and when it comes to the community. And so this is why, you know, a lot of times I come out my pocket and I do it. I do it simply because it gives me great joy to see the people experience the culture as I knew it. You know, so we have break dancers, you know, graffiti artists, you know, DJs, B girls, B boys, and everybody that's out there. And one of the things that is different for MC Sha-Rock Day is that I reach back into the community. I honor, give you know, certificates and awards to the people out there that some of you or nobody never knew about, but they played a very important role, you know, in helping the culture to move forward. And my thing is that it's so many unsung people, and I like to honor them to say,
That's
listen,
right.
I'm in the same boat with you. You know, I still have to, you know,
That's
go
right.
out there and keep, you know, saying my praises, you know, and letting people know and ringing my you know, like raising my flag. But with that said, I'm gonna raise your flag as well, and I'm gonna let people know what you did for the culture. And I think this is one reason why MC Shamrock Day is different, you know, than a lot of the park jams and everything that's going on, because it's the community, it's the hip hop community, and it's celebrating all and all of the, you know, the elements, you know, of the culture.
That's right.
So yeah.
Yeah,
Salute to
That's
you.
beautiful.
Salute to
Oh
you. That's
yeah.
beautiful. Beautiful. I feel
Thank
the
you.
same
Thank
way.
you.
Like,
that's why
And
we always
also
keep this podcast. Like we always try to bring a lot of the older, like you know, a lot of the
Terminator.
past rappers and
Yeah.
MCs and stuff, because we want people to know the history. We don't, because
Yeah.
everybody's out right now. You know that history,
Right.
because this
Right.
history is being shown on TV, commercials, and
that's right.
YouTube, and like back then when you was they didn't have none of this. So a lot of
Absolutely.
people didn't know
Absolutely.
this. So it's good that we
Absolutely.
have things like this to show you and let the world know what you did before anybody else.
And so with that said, without me telling too much, I've already, you know, been telling, you know, people for the longest. MC Sha-Rock was the first female MC to ever play in punk rock clubs. And so right now, you know what I'm saying? When you talk about people like the Beastie Boys, when they was winning a VH1 award, and they asked them, you know, okay, so what was one of the memorable moments of your time? And they said, you know, the Funky Four, you know, plus one.
Wow.
And at the time we was playing in those punk rock clubs, we didn't know that the Beastie Boys was in the crowd
That's
watching
crazy.
us, because we were going down there playing. You understand
Yep.
what I'm saying? And so with that said, I'm going to bring it full circle in this doc that I'm doing, you know, to really break down everything. I'm almost finished with it. You know, I want to shout out, you know, my director, producer, editor, and everything. Her name is Mari Kiko Gonzalez. She actually did the James Brown doc. She did the Curtis Mayfield doc. She did who the cowboy movie High Horse. She was a director and producer on that. She working on the Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis doc. You know what I'm saying? So I had brought in somebody that could really understand who Sha-Rock is and was. And I worked with her on the James Brown doc. And when I started telling her my story, you know, and she started doing, you know, a little bit of investigation and all that stuff and going back on archives, and she was like, listen, I'm going to do your story. And so my thing has always been, I will never allow my story to be put into anybody's hands that didn't understand the impact, you know, of MC Sha-Rock. And understand this, y'all, I say this as humble as I can. You understand what I'm saying? So if she hadn't came along, I don't give a doggone if nobody ever really knew who Sha-Rock was, because I knew my family was going to bring the legacy, but I wanted to make sure that people understood who I was, and I put it in the hands of a person who understand how I wanted, you know, my brand and my legacy to you know, to move forward. And so Mari, you know, she's doing that. So we about ready to wrap it up now. We've been filming for like a year or so now, you know, and so I think we're going to take a lot. Well, I know we're going to take a lot of people so in debt, you know, to some of the things that you just really never knew. You know what I'm saying? And yo, I had people to come through. A lot of, you know, luminaries in their own right came through, and you know, and did me some justice. So I'm ready,
Awesome.
you know, for, you know, the people to really, really hear. Because now I've been talking about it, for the last 20 years. And you know how when you have so many information in different parts, if it ain't on Twitter, if it ain't on, Snapchat or all the social medias, this doc, all the information is going to be in one specific place, and you right there. She's the joint. You will be able to hear the true story of the Funky Four, the Funky 4+1.
That's
MC
dope.
Sha-Rock. Yes, yes.
I support that.
I'm super excited. Yes, I'm
Lifetime
super
needs
excited.
to pick you up too.
Yes.
Lifetime, because Lifetime will do a nice story on you.
Yes.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. That's a good thought. And hopefully,
you should get into that Lifetime, because Lifetime will really bring you out there.
And let me also say this. I want to also send a shout out to DMC. And I don't know if y'all know this, but DMC has always had my back. Fat Joe has always had my back from the beginning.
Years,
and when you talk, let's talk about that. One of the accolades is like when you talk about the echo chamber, the repeat.
I heard him talking.
You know what I'm saying?
Say, rock,
and he will tell you that him and Run was influenced by me using the echo chamber. And he went to Jam Master Jay and said, I want you to make me sound like Sha-Rock on the echo chamber, because he heard the tapes that was going around at the time in New York City. So y'all stop playing with me, and just like, look, just like, listen, if I don't tell y'all who I am, y'all would never know.
That's right.
And if I'm not, I don't want to say cocky, you know what I'm saying? But being humble don't get you nowhere. I have to tell you, closed mouths don't get fed. Now, whether or not y'all want to listen or not, that's up to you. But I'm telling you, and I'm going to show you who I am. You know what I'm saying? Then I'm going to go about my business.
Everybody else tell their story. Why can't you?
Exactly.
Right.
I can speak for you. Listen, I was a fan of yours back in the day, too. So everything you're preaching about is fact, is truth. So salute.
And me being
respect.
And me being born in '97 and hearing my father talk about, going to the parks, going to the parks back in the day, and then I'm doing the research and hearing your work, and I'm like, wow. And I think it's important that folks in my generation, understand where the music they listen, the people that came before them. So I salute you.
Matt, I appreciate you, because you talking about 97, like being on a radio station, right? What I realize is like we do birthday salutes, right? So when we do birthday salutes, I look at people ages and I was like, damn, they could have been my son or daughter. You know what I'm saying? So unless, they knew about Sha-Rock, I don't blame nobody for not knowing who I am. It is not their responsibility, to tell my story, because they're telling their own stories. You understand what I'm saying? And they're living in their own truth. It is up to me to wave my flag, and I've been waving it for 20 years, and just one day, just maybe it'll click. You understand what I'm saying? And so with that said, I'm going to continue to do that, because that's a hip-hop history. That's history in general, and it's also my children's history, and my family's history. So if I never make a dime out of this, I will still have my legacy intact.
That's right.
And that's by telling my story.
And you know what? One of the first records I bought was Rapping and Rockin' the House. I still have them 12 inches in my house.
Yeah, and Matt, we broke history with that, and I'm gonna tell you how. We broke history because that was the first song that was recorded at 16 minutes. You understand what I'm saying? 16 minutes long.
Wow.
You recently said that.
He said that.
I said that. I said that a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
He's right. And so with that saying, Mac, like I think somebody after probably like 40 something years and stuff, they broke the record with going over, but we were the first, even before the Sugar Records, we made the longest rap record ever. And we did it in one take. You know what I'm saying? We went out, with Punkin,
I was just going to say that too.
Yeah. So with that said, Punkin was the first person that we enlisted. We had him first, to make that record, with us, and we did it live, off the bat, because what we did in one take, because what we did was we used our rhymes that we were already rhyming to on the streets. You know what I'm saying? So in 1979, in November 1979, we did that song with Enjoy Records, and it came out. And also with that song being 16 minutes, we made history at that time and didn't even know it. We also had 45 King Mark. If y'all know who he is,
Yep.
that
Rest in
made,
peace. Rest in peace to
yeah,
him.
that R.I.P. that made Jay-Z's hit, made
Mhm.
Queen Latifah's hit. He was
Yep.
our record boy. He started with
Wow.
us in the 70s, passing DJ Breakout the records for us to
Records, yeah.
rhyme off of. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And I got a tape of him talking about that right before he passed away, and he would say how he started with our group first. You know what I'm saying? And then he went on. So we had a lot. We had Tony Tone from the Cold Crush that
Cold
started
Crush.
with the Brothers Disco first. You know what I'm saying? He was, the person that would help set up the equipment from the Brothers Disco. He was also the person that would do security as well. So Tony Tone started with the Brothers Disco, the Funky Four, and went on to make his group, the Cold Crush, later, a couple of years later.
That's real.
So we had
That's
a
real.
lot of different people coming through, from the Brothers Disco camp. And that has been forgotten or not
Yep.
told. And so I want to be able to bring that to the forefront to let people know the importance of the Funky Four and the Funky 4+1 and MC Sha-Rock that
Absolutely.
has been forgotten.
They didn't know
Absolutely.
then. They're gonna know now once
Hey.
we put
Yes.
this podcast out.
Yes.
And let me
yes,
ask you
yes.
one more thing. What advice will you give the youth today?
For me, I think you just gotta. There's too much information out there today for no one to get robbed.
Yes.
Anybody that was on, and this is no diss to any record labels or anything like that. That first generation that came out in '79. Especially with us being on the Sugar Hill or Enjoy Records, we learned a lot. We learned stuff that we didn't even know. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And still, but this was going through trials and tribulations. There's no reason that any young person should not know the business. You got to understand the business first. The
Yep.
skills and rapping and all that stuff, that comes later. You got to understand the business, and you got to know how to move throughout a room full of snakes. You understand what I'm saying? And then
Got
you
that
have to
right.
work out what's right for you. Take the deal, understand the deal, and if you know your value, you have to work out what's right for you, because you don't want to become, one of those MCs, or rappers, like us growing up, that didn't have social media, didn't have the information, that be like, oh, they gave me a $50,000 advance, and you owe that $50,000 for the rest of your life, and then it doubles and it triples and all that stuff. There is so much information out there for you to be able to understand how to move, in this industry, because the industry is the business side. You understand what I'm saying? So
Yep.
you
Yeah.
just got to know it. I can say a whole lot of things that I think, but there's no way with any young person nowadays should not understand the business aspect, because we're living in a whole different area. An era of AI, technology and all of that stuff. You got to know how to move nowadays, because things are changing. And for
Yep.
your brand, you have to ensure that you comes first before anything. We didn't
Mhm.
have that growing up. You
Nope.
understand what I'm saying? We
Nope.
were the blueprint, of not knowing. But there's no excuse now.
Yeah.
And I can name some other things, but I think that is the most important thing, is to know the business. The
That's right.
craft comes later. The business part comes first.
Mm.
Yeah, I heard this from Sha-Rock. Yeah.
And it's
Yes.
amazing because you said we're living in the era of AI. Like when I met you even 12 years ago, how times have changed from like
True.
12 years ago to now. It's amazing.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And what back then we had MySpace.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We had Facebook, even Facebook has changed over the years.
Yep.
Instagram has changed over the years. And it's like you just got to know technology, and you just got to
Yeah.
know what's right for you. What's right for you, because there's money out there to be made. You just got to know how to get it, because we living in a different day and age where
Yep.
what used to be is not no more.
Yep.
And if you don't understand what's going on, then you just gonna be lost in the sauce. And so,
Yep.
including us elders, we have to begin to learn. If you're still in the
Facts.
industry, or you wanted to do something, we still have to make
Facts.
sure that we up on what's going on, because this world is changing. I mean, so much, not just in the industry, but just in general. So we have to stay abreast of what's going on as well.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Yeah, yeah.
But I see a lot of difference of like when we was coming up, like we all about the same age, except him.
Yes.
You know, he's the baby.
Hey, listen.
But it's funny
True.
because I always say, and I even tell my grandkids, and I tell a lot of these kids of today, I say, yo, when we was coming up, when we was friends, we were friends.
True.
Like I still got friends from the first grade all the way to today.
Absolutely.
But now,
Absolutely.
you know, friends today, like you could have like, even my grandkids, they be hanging out with this kid. I'm like, I just asked my grandkid, yo, nah, I haven't seen that kid over. I'm like, yo, but y'all were just tight the other day. Like,
yeah,
you don't see that. Like, you don't see that friendship into like you talking about your past. You still friends with all these people from your past, but today, these kids don't keep friends like we did.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Like I still got a friend that I could, man, I'm gonna tell you right now, and you're talking over 40 years with probably like 50 something years. I want to shout out to Queen Lisa Lee from the Zulu Nation.
Respect that.
That is one person that I really trust with my life. And after all of these years, I could still call her a friend. You know what I'm saying? And you don't find that. You know, she was also a dope, you know, female MC, you know, back then as well. And I respected her craft and she respected mine. So I'm going to always shout out her, you know, no matter what. You know what I'm saying? Because we have this bond, you know, that many try to break, you know, when they try to do that conquer and divide, you know, with, you know, MCs, whatever. But we respected each other so much that we never allowed that to happen. You know, and with that said, I want to, you know, send a shout out to her, and she would be the one that I will always shout out in the same breath of MC Sha-Rock.
I'm friends with her on Facebook, Queen Lisa Lee.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yes.
No doubt.
And the funny thing, I was telling my grandkids too, it's funny because like when we was kids, remember if you had $1 and you had like 3 or 4 friends and y'all went and bought something, like y'all all shared it.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that? Like if you bought a bag of chips, it was 5 people, everybody. Even if you drank and you drank the beer, everybody was passing. Yeah,
everybody take a sip.
You know what I'm saying? You don't do that now. Everybody's to themselves now.
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
Nobody wants to share with nobody. Like,
you had a pack of now ladies, what, 5 or 6 come in a pack. You gonna give them,
and you gave one to everybody in the class.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And maybe hide 1 or 2. You know, so they wouldn't ask for the last one. You know what I mean? But
that's why he say he say something now, eat something for later, whatever he used to say. But it's
true.
It's funny, man. Times sure has changed, you know.
But you know what I do, you know, for my children, what I have did for my children, I let them, you know, even growing up, I used to take them back to New York a lot, you know, and even North Carolina, so they could understand, you know, their roots, you know, where stuff happening, where stuff going on. And I allowed them to listen to all different types of music. You know what I'm saying? Where it's not just rap music, but it's jazz, it's blues, it's country, you know, it's everything, you know, so they can have you know, like a vast, you know, selection of music where they can choose from, you know, and just listen and understand that besides, you know, growing up with our genre, it's other genres as well. So my thing is that I think as parents, and not to say that parents don't do that, but a lot of us do, you know, introduce them to other things so they could be well-rounded, where they go out in the street and be able to articulate, you know, certain things or experience certain things of other cultures. I think that is very important, you know, as well. You know,
super important.
And you know what makes me happy about today's podcast? You are our first female guest.
Say that.
Yo, okay, we had to break the record with you.
So I can put that underneath my belt now, right?
Yes, well, yes. You're the first one on the Terminator Xperience.
That's a blessing.
Yeah.
That's another first.
That's another first.
Say that. Say that. Yeah, I like that.
You're
I like
number one on everything, baby.
I love first. I ain't gonna
lie. Let me tell the whole audience, I always had a crush on you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Listen, I know y'all in North Carolina, but once again, all of y'all in North Carolina?
Yes.
Yeah,
So I'm going to send y'all the information for the North Carolina you know, a Music Hall of Fame. And I would want y'all to come out there and celebrate with me. You know what I'm saying?
We'll be there.
Yeah. Listen, if you say you're going to be there, I'm going to send y'all the invitation.
And let them know too, if they need a DJ, I'm his manager.
You know what? I got you. I just got notified, so I'll let them know. You know what I'm saying? If they do need a DJ, look, let's take it there. You know what I'm saying? Because you're going to have a lot of different, you know, people that is going to be, you know, like that's part of the North Carolina scene, music scene, whether or not it's grass, country music, or a lot of different people are going to be honored that day too. So it's going to be a vast, a
Nice.
vast of different people that will be honored that day. So I expect y'all to show up, and I'm going to send y'all that information.
Yeah,
Please do.
and
October
we'll be the
16th.
first podcast
Yes.
to be on your show on your
Oh
honor
yes,
day.
yes. Can we do that?
Yeah.
Can we do that from the North Carolina Music Hall of
Please.
Fame? Yeah, let's
we
do
might be
that.
able to work
Why
on that.
not? Why not?
Why not?
I'm tempted on going up north to Sha-Rock Day. I'm tempted on
Hey,
taking
don't
the
play
train.
with me. Don't play with me. You man, listen, come on. I just want y'all to go. It's a Saturday. Y'all come up there. You know what I'm saying? If you have to jump back on the train at night, going back to North Carolina, because we're gonna have a lot of people from North Carolina coming up there. They come from all over.
I just need someone to pick me up from the train station and get me out there because I can't see, so I won't let that stop me.
So y'all need to come together.
What's the
Y'all
date?
need to
What's
come
the date
together.
again?
I don't want you.
What's
It's
the day?
Saturday, next Saturday, June
June
6th.
6th.
Oh, I'm
Oh,
gonna
I
have
might-
surgery that weekend.
Damn.
I
All
gotta have.
right.
I might be in DC that weekend as well.
I'm gonna see if we'll see.
I don't know. I don't want you traveling to New York by yourself, Matt.
No, I'm from
Nah.
up that way, so it's no when I go home. Anyway, that's another story, but that is nothing.
Yeah, man, you gonna
Sha-Rock, we'll talk later.
Okay, let's talk. Let's talk. I got you, man. I got you on the, what we talked
Okay.
about on social media thing.
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
But
Could
listen,
you
guys,
let us
I
know
love y'all.
anything? Could you let
And
the
remember,
people know what
y'all in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Y'all in North Carolina. So I'm going to invite y'all out there, so that way maybe you, like you said, you can podcast from North Carolina being out there. I think it's in Kenneth, forgot the name of it, but it's Kenningsworth or Kenny something. Something.
I never heard of that.
Weird. Okay, I'm gonna tell y'all now. Look, like I look back on my
Kernersville?
Yeah. Y'all keep talking where I let y'all know what it is. Where it's at. Let me see. Y'all keep talking, so we don't have no dead spot because I just gotta let y'all know.
People know where she's gonna be at next.
I didn't even know, that George Clinton was born.
Yeah, he's from Kannapolis, I think, or Concord, right?
That's it. That's
okay.
That's
Kannapolis.
Kannapolis.
Yeah, he claimed he was born in an outhouse, so he was destined for the phone.
Oh snap! Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's it. That's it. I think. Well, he's from there, but I don't know. Was it? I know he's from there, but I was trying to look on my messages to see, if that's actually let's see. It's very close to Kannapolis.
That's down by Charlotte.
Yeah.
I go record shop.
Yeah, I think it's it's very close to. Well, the message that I got is he's very close to Kannapolis, but I think it's going to be in where? I'll let Morris. It's going to be in Morrisville, North Carolina. How far is that from y'all?
Okay, that's right near.
Yeah, that's right near.
That's right here, right?
That is? Yeah, it's going to be in Mooresville, North Carolina. That's where they're having it.
Okay, that's right here.
I'm gonna let Mike G know too from the Jungle Brothers because he's in Morrisville.
Oh, good. Oh, he's in Mooresville?
Yeah.
There's two more. There's a Mooresville and a Marsville. I think where Mike G is.
Was with two O's.
Okay, but the one she's talking about.
It might be the one by the mountains.
Yeah, the one. That's a different one.
This one is with two O's. Mooresville.
Oh, Mooresville.
Yeah, that's down by.
That's by the mountains.
Yeah,
Mooresville. Because you got Morrisville and then you got Mooresville.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Now, this is Mooresville. How far that is for y'all?
That's like 2 hours.
It's
man.
close. We'll
Well,
be
yeah,
there.
y'all have
No,
to
but
make
for
that
you,
trip.
Yeah, we
we'll
coming.
be there. Trust
We are
me.
Y'all
coming.
make that trip. All right, let's get it. October
That'll
16th.
be like a vacation day for you.
Yes. So let's do it. And then
Absolutely.
y'all could probably get to interview other people that's down there as well. You know what I mean?
Okay. Would you like to let people know anything about you before we leave?
No,
Before we
once
get out of here.
again, shout out to everybody that take the time to listen to the show. MC Sha-Rock is the first female MC to be on the podcast. And with that said, make sure that y'all check out, Shisha Joint is coming soon. I've been trying to put this together for the last 20 years. Is coming to fruition, just look out for it and just support, the doc when it comes out.
Yep, she's the joint.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
I would like to thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much, Sha-Rock. We love
y'all.
you.
Love you.
Love y'all.
You're a hero of mine.
And
Thank you
thank
so
you for
much.
embracing.
Honored to have
Thank you
you
for
on.
embracing us all.
Thank you for opening the
Listen,
doors for other
Yes,
people.
we love you.
but we family, and I love y'all too. I appreciate y'all so much. Okay, thank you.
And we want part 2. Please.
Well, when we go down to North Carolina,
There you go. That's right.
we
That's
gotta
right.
do
That's
that.
right.
That's the
That's
part
right.
2.
All
All
right.
right,
And
that's the
Sha-Rock,
part
we'll
2.
talk later.
All right.
Thank
God
you.
bless.
Yes,
Much
yes.
love.
But
Sha-Rock,
stay on,
ladies and gentlemen.
stay on. I want to ask you a question when we get off. Okay.
That's going to do it for this episode of the Terminator Experience podcast, hosted by DJ DVS, Minor, and the legendary Terminator X. Make sure you subscribe, rate, and leave a review, and tap in with us on social media for clips, updates, and behind the scenes. Until next time, keep the culture first, keep the sound heavy, and keep it locked right here.